Welcome to the Sierra Leone Government Press Briefing, with journalists, civil societies, in collaboration with the Ministry of Information and Communication. Opening remarks by Mr Ajibu Jalloh, Outreach Coordinator, Office of the Government Spokesman. This meeting took place on the 12th of May 2016 at the Ministry of Information Conference Center.
Amen. Amen. So help us God. I'd like to welcome you to today, May the 12th, government press briefing, where we attempt to disseminate, proliferate, propagate information with regards to government activities, policies, and procedures. Allow for an interaction to the extent where you can ask pertinent questions with regards to government's execution of its mandate. Today we've invited the Minister of Internal Affairs, who unfortunately has been summoned by Parliament, so he will not be here. His old ministry has been summoned by Parliament. We also invited the Minister of Water Resources, who also informed us that he has a meeting with duputy, but will attempt to be here as we progress. We also invited the Ministry of Education. They had enough information. They should be here. If they're not here, then we'll have to find out in due course, but we're expecting them. Nevertheless, the Deputy Minister of Information and Communication, Mr Corne Devaux, is with us. And without much ado, I will hand the microphone over to him now, who will give us update, pure and applied, with regards to government's ongoing progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, colleagues, all members of the Fourth Estate. Today's press conference is going to be a little bit different, and so it shall be henceforth. Today's press conference is going to be spiced with a 3-minute documentary which will present clear evidence to journalists and the people of this country as to what this government is doing in different parts of the country. There is this misnomer from detractors who always claim that much of the development that this government is trumpeting is being carried out in the north. Well, today I have the honor to present to you the story of this government's transformational objectives, beginning with the Koinadugu story. And in the Koinadugu story, a 3-minute documentary which will clearly show you what government has done in terms of providing essential services for the people of Koinadugu. So let us have this 3-minute documentary, and this documentary will also be heard on the various community radio stations, and will also be broadcasted on the 3 television stations in this country. Let us have the Koinadugu story.
President Mr Maada S Gbainjay launched an ambitious infrastructural development program nationwide, and the story of Koinadugu changed forever. The Ebola outbreak dealt a severe blow, but like the rest of Sierra Leone, the resilient people of Koinadugu prevailed. With the epidemic completely defeated, government's development projects have resumed full swing, while the town can now proudly boast of running water and tarred roads. The people have regained confidence in the healthcare system. The district headquarter town, once characterized by dusty and pothole-ridden roads, has been transformed to the amazement and appreciation of its inhabitants.
For the township of Kailan now, we tell God thank you because this is not the first time we don't see Utaren and the main street and Kailan to Penembo. Within the government, they talk in terms of development, they don't really reach the footsteps of where the people that work within Ayam.
Kailan is also a proud beneficiary of a 100% government-funded pipe-borne water project, catering for most of Luawa Chiefdom's 81,000 inhabitants.
So they don't have this, they don't make long that come, how do they suffer for water, not they suffer again.
Station manager Brahma Aliyu says the water provided for the township is safe and pure.
And all of people get any power to the safety of the water. And I make and drink and repeat them in the pump up there, but let them know say the water they go to them is safe, and of quality, and they undergo all the tests they water for undergo for ensure say nobody not get any sick when water related.
For the township, Alpha Dole and his people, the provision of pipe-borne water to their community brings a huge relief.
Most of the families that are stricken to go for their water, but for the time when the government don't make to get this water and Kalaya, don't make now all the people in Kalaya don't become released.
The ABC-led government has also rehabilitated hundreds of kilometers of feeder roads, linking people to farms, hospitals, schools, and markets that were previously inaccessible in the district. Paramount Chief Banya of Luawa Chiefdom agrees that the scale of development is unprecedented.
We don't get a lot of things when they happen. I have very good things. We have the solar lights. We have a lot of bread in the hospitals. So I think a lot of things are going on.
As a truly national party, the APC government's development agenda does not know opposition struggles. Practically, every region and every district has benefited. In our next edition of Sierra Leone's transformation, we will explore how the new Kenema Penembu Road is changing the lives of ordinary citizens in that part of the country. This is only a part of the Kailan story.
So, the Ministry of Information and Communications is using information communication technologies to bring government information to the people. Thank you very much, and you have all seen, not all of you have been opportune to travel to Kailan, and we know that not all of you will be opportune to travel to various parts of the country to assess for yourselves the level of transformation that is taking place. So that is why, as a ministry, we have endeavored to ensure that we go out, we package the news, and we present it to you, so you take it to the people. You've seen Kailan town. The township roads have all been tarred. We've seen Kailan town, and you see that there is sufficient water supply. You've also seen that the people are making great use of the free medical facilities. And you've also seen that government has also endeavored to rehabilitate feeder roads that has made it possible for farmers to access markets. So this is the development story of our government, and we shall continue, as you've just heard, to present to you these footages in almost every other subsequent press conference. Thank you very much. You are all quite aware that not too long ago, the World Bank released its doing business ranking, and among the West African countries, Sierra Leone is the first. Sierra Leone is the fourth country in West Africa that has a conducive environment for doing business. For us as a government, this is a testimony of our commitment to open this country to foreign investment, and also a testimony of our commitment to promote public-private partnership. And we are very much certain that with a conducive environment to start a business, more investment will come into this country, and consequently, these investments will correspondingly create job opportunities. These investments will correspondingly increase our foreign exchange earning capacity, and these investments will correspondingly contribute to ameliorating the socio-economic malaise and further contribute to enhancing the socio-economic well-being of our people and this country. The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, in consultation with relevant stakeholders, yesterday held a meeting, and it has been agreed that the NPSE examination, which was deferred, will now take place on the 28th of May. Several reasons have been advanced as to why the exams were deferred, and most of these reasons were coming from detractors. Well, I want to officially make it very clear that the reason the examination was deferred was as a result of the fact that invigilators who were supposed to police, supervise, and superintend the conduct of the examinations raised concern about payments which they had not received. And government, in its wisdom, thought it prudently to defer the examination in order to have confirmation and assurance from invigilators that if children come to the examination hall, they will be there, and they will not only be there, but be ready and committed to execute their functions as people who have the responsibility to police, conduct, and superintend the NPSE examination. A consensus has been arrived at, and that is why government is assuringly disclosing now that the exams will take place on the 28th of May 2016. 2 days ago, His Excellency the President launched what could be described as an ambitious, costly, but necessary energy revolution project. The project seeks at taking solar energy to homes in remote rural areas, especially in areas that cannot connect to the national grid. 3 things are needed for this project to succeed. The first being the political will, which has been invariably demonstrated by this government. The second being donor support, and we have already secured the consensus of UK Aid, who will be providing initial funding, and the third being private sector involvement. And that is why government is calling on the private sector to take advantage of the necessary infrastructure that it has created to invest in its rural electrification project so as to ensure that our target of ensuring 250,000 homes get electricity by the end of 2017 and ensuring that 1 million households get electricity by 2020, and going beyond that to ensure that energy is available to all by 2025 will become a reality. The most contentious issue in town now is the issue of the water crisis. And we have had certain civil society organizations calling on the management of Juma Valley Water Company to resign. But let me use this opportunity to make it very clear that civil society organizations should endeavor to restrain themselves within their limits, and let it be made very clear that notwithstanding the fact that Juma Valley has been named as one of the projects, the institutions that should be privatized, it has not yet been privatized. But with us here, we have a representative from Juma Valley Water Company who will give us an insight into the current water situation in the city and what Juma Valley is doing to address it, and will also be in a position to answer your questions. But before I hand over the mic to him, the issue of providing access to safe drinking water for our people remains a primary concern of this government, and government has over the years endeavored to explore several opportunities in addressing the issue of access to safe drinking water. In other parts of this country, government has in many districts where pipe-borne water had for ages ceased to be existing. Government has been able to revive and resuscitate the supply of pipe-borne waters. The video footage you've just seen is a testimony of what government is doing to ensure that pipe-borne water is supplied to homes in most of our district headquarter towns, Koinadugu not being an exemption, as you have just seen in the video documentary. Government will continue to place emphasis, importance, and commitment in making sure our people have access to safe and clean drinking water. Water, as an essential commodity in other parts of the country, is not a free commodity. In many other parts of this world, including the sub-region, including places like Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, you hardly see street taps in the street. With street taps in the street, it means that our people can have access to water, pipe-borne water, free of cost. And that is what our government is doing. In advanced democracies, developed countries of the world, like the USA, countries in Europe, whether you want water to drink, whether you want water to wash, you pay for it. You want water to launder, you pay for it. But in Sierra Leone, government remains committed to providing water for our people free of cost. We, as a government that looks into the future, we are expecting civil society organizations to take the lead in beginning to educate our people that honestly the infrastructure required, the maintenance of the infrastructure required for the supply of water to your homes is costly and expensive, and as a result, our people should begin to think as to how they will complement the effort of the Guma Valley, the effort of Salwako, by beginning to conceive the idea of paying for the service. Many will agree that notwithstanding the challenges faced by Guma Valley, one of the many reasons that has over the years resulted to the company's inability to maintain its infrastructure is the fact that very few people are willing and ready to pay for the services. That notwithstanding, I have the honor and pleasure to invite the Deputy General Manager of Goma Valley Water Company, Mr Maada S Gbainjay, to talk to you on what Goma Valley is doing now to address, quote unquote, a water crisis in Freetown. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We all know the current situation with water supply in Freetown. It's very, very critical. It's a crisis. You all probably have heard several times the reasons for this: the increased deforestation, increased demand, increased evaporation, leaks all over the place. Yeah, so this year dried up smaller sources. So this year quite a lot of our people are not getting water. But the government, together with the Ministry of Water Resources and Guma Valley, we've launched an emergency program to help relieve people's stress in the short term. So you can now see Bowser's taking water to communities in Allentown, Calabar Town, Wellington, Kisi, Wilberforce, and some of these places. We'll continue this for the next 30 days. I'm sure we'll even continue even after the 30 days. So in the short term, that's what everybody's embarking on. In the medium term, you know, you've also probably heard that we have the DP program. the Minister for DFID, UK Minister for DFID, is here in town to launch that program, which is a $38 million pounds, £38 million project. And that money will be going towards rehabilitating the existing Guma infrastructure. The moderator was talking about people not paying for services. That's true. Guma is a self-funded organization, so the monies that we raise goes back into running the company and improving services to communities that do not have service currently. So this money will be going into rehabilitating the existing infrastructure, particularly in ensuring that we can transport water right across the city in a very effective manner. That's one. The MCC, which is a United States program, is also putting money into Guma, about $16 million. And part of this money will be used for what we call propose schemes. Propose scheme is a way of giving money to, sorry, moderator. Yep. This money will be going to providing funding the propose scheme, propose scheme. This is a way of augmenting the public stamp post system. You can notice several public stamp posts dotted across the city. What we want to do is augment these facilities so people don't have to queue for a very long time. They can just come and get water, and also place these facilities, within a very short distance to where people are living. So that's for the MCC program. We also have a Chinese-funded program, which is about to kick off, and they are going to put $25 million into this water kiosk system, so that we hope people will not continue to cut pipes and let us lose the precious water, and really enhance this facility so people can be getting water. I know frustrations are high, very, very high. People have been talking about 21 days ultimatum. We clearly understand that. But now we encourage everybody to be really, really focused in addressing this problem. You yourselves can help by, helping sensitize the public about water conservation, about preventing destruction of the catchments, and things like that. If you're a company, companies can also help. UNICEF is helping, Plan International has promised to help. The WASH Consortium, which are the NGOs, Oxfam, Gold, Save the Children, ACF, they are all helping Guma to help address this problem. So, hands on deck, we encourage you to really sensitize the public so that we help put this behind us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy Director General Guma. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we will go straight to questions. But before we do that, let me add to the update that our Deputy Minister has presented us with. I think as a country we should all be proud that our President Anas Gbainjay, has been presented with an award by no less an institution than the Pan-African Parliament. The award that was conferred is in recognition of his dedication and passion to ensuring democratic, good governance, political and religious tolerance in Sierra Leone. I think that speaks for itself. I need not explain. But if we have not recognized that, those in the international arena have recognized that Sierra Leone is really, really quintessential and a force to reckon with regards to political tolerance, tolerance for religion, recognition for good governance. And also, I also want to inform you that the National Electoral Commission, NEC, in charge of administering elections in this country, paid the President a visit, and that visit was to present their annual strategic plan. And as the meeting went on, the President made statements, and I quote, the President informed them that free and fair elections form basis of true democracy. Free and fair elections forms the basis for true democracy. And the President went on to say, that he is committed to democracy, he is committed to free and fair elections, and he will continue to provide NEC with the necessary support, moral and financial, in all aspects. I say this because it speaks to the fact that we have a democratic president, we have a democratic government that believes free and fair elections forms the basis of democracy, and he said that. I thought I'll let you know, and I'll say that. So moving on, I think I'll turn this over now to you to ask your questions. We've been informed that NPSC has given, they have given way to NPSC to continue. The date is the 28th of May. We've been informed that temporary measures have been put in place to ameliorate, to mitigate, to reduce the issue of water. And I may add that we are in an era of global warming. The atmosphere is hotter than it was before, and we should expect the issue of water to become a problem. We've had a geometric progression of population in this general area, so we're not able to clean the water quick enough for human consumption. But that, coupled with the natural nature of global warming that is drying the water up, it is causing an issue. Furthermore, you have the issue of people being lawless, cutting trees when they're not expected to cut trees. All of that compounds the problem of global warming. And furthermore, the issue of water catchment. People are building and destroying water catchment. This water catchment is meant to save enough water to act as a reservoir, such that that water can be pumped over to us. But when you destroy the water catchment, it means you have less of a reservoir, and as such, the water coming through cannot sustain our basic needs. So this is a conglomeration of problems. And honestly speaking, as a government, we don't have the resources to catch everybody that is lawless. We have to take the responsibility as citizens of this country and look around and see what people are doing that they ought not to be doing, and call the police or stop them yourself. If we don't take this in our own hands, then I'm afraid it will be difficult to control. Having said that, I'll turn this over to you for questioning. I'll take the first 5 sets of questions, please. Fine, I have a gentleman in the back over there. Please give me your name and your medium. Go straight to your question, please. Straight to your questions. Secondly, Mr. Ba over there. Okay, 2 questions from this side. And we'll go to Mr. Bundu in the back, of course, and Abdullah here, and I'll do one more. One more, and the gentleman over there. Please go.
Yeah, Aluscience is right for Congo Times. To the Guma Valley man. Water crisis during the dry season, to me, is now a perennial problem in Freetown. Sierra Leone enjoys 6 months of rain. Don't you think the leadership of Guma Valley lacked some kind of innovative ideas?
Mohamed Aliba, report for the Trumpet newspaper. My question is, Salwako have been doing very well because Salwako is under the Ministry of Water Resources. But Guma Valley is under NCP, the National Commission for Privatisation, and it has not been doing well at all. Why is it that the government have not decided to take Guma Valley and put it under the Ministry of Water Resources? This is my question.
Abdullah.
Abdullah Bangura, that's for this experience, and also President Journalist for Agenda Prospect. My question, of course, Mr. Penge is my best friend. Can you please tell us exactly whether the Guma Dam is empty or not?
Good afternoon. I'm Amara Smela, working for 88.7 FM. Well, it's like I'm not here to ask question, but to make recommendation. We've seen we are in a lot of trees are being cut down for use as firewood, or at times it is being cut down to make coals. So I think government should try to make a subsidy in order for Africans and other people that are making use of those coals or woods, so that if they subsidize for Africans, at least it will be somehow reasonable for everybody to be able to buy that Africans. Because if such thing is being remedied, it will be necessary for everybody. Because as for now, we've seen everybody is going out to purchase coal because coal is somehow reasonable. But if this Africans is somehow reasonable, everybody will go in for it. And also the aspect of, we've been seeing people are building in the water catchment areas. So if we make sure that those laws that are in place, to implement those laws, if we implement those laws that are in place, at least most of those people that are building structures in the water catchment areas will minimize it. So that is the recommendations that I want to make.
Thank you very much, Abdullah Amara Sumaila. Unfortunately, Amara does not have a paper, he has a radio, but what he has said is very important. I'm going to advise now and encourage you to collaborate with those that have papers so you can editorialize everything you've just said. If you open a newspaper, there's a section called editorial. That's where people like yourself will actually put in information that you've so given us. It is important, imperative. I think it's very important, but it must be editorialized. So this way, it stays there and people will see it, read it, reason, and quite understand it. I'll hand the microphone over now to
you have one more to go.
Mr. Bundu, I'm sorry.
Munu.
Mr. Munura.
Thank you. My question is for the Deputy Manager, Guma. Mr. Deputy Manager, I guess you may be aware of a press release issued out by a consortium of civil society organizations, giving you an ultimatum and asking you to resign after 21 days if you fail to do X, Y, Z. I just want to know what is your reaction to that press release as an entity. Thank you.
Now, before the director from the deputy DG from Guma answers the questions that have been proffered, I want to make clear the question for Mr. Ba. Mr. Ba is asking whether Guma is under NCP. So please, as you answer the question, I think we may need to highlight what NCP is and what the relationship between NCP and Guma is for the public to understand.
Thank you very much. In fact, let me go to that question first. Salwako be managed by ministry, Guma be managed by NCP, Salwako doing well, Guma not doing well. Well, the NCP is the National Commission for Privatization, and any government agency that's to be privatized is put under the NCP, for the NCP to prepare and make attractive that institution to investors. A few years ago, Guma was about to be, Guma was one of the institutions that was to be privatized, so that's why Guma is under the NCP. The NCP's mandate is really just to make Guma more attractive, to ensure that management is running the company as best as they can, so that any potential investor coming, we see it as a prime asset that they might want to own. The Ministry of Water Resources is responsible for policy, for water policy throughout the country. So you saying we don't report to the ministry, in fact, we do report to the ministry, because everything that we do with regards to providing the service to the people, the ministry is directly involved in that. And let me make this point clear as well. NCP is a government institution. Ministry of Water Resources is a government institution. So for me, there's no issue. Okay, there's really no issue. It's one government. So the first question, innovative ideas to this water crisis being a perennial issue, whether we have any innovative ideas to make sure that it does not happen again. Of course we do. Number one, we need to manage demand. If we had the money, we can increase the volume of raw water we're storing. Definitely, we have rains for 6 months, then we have the dry season for 6 months. If we have enough storage, then we can store enough water in the rainy season and, you know, keep the plants running at full capacity, even during the dry season. But as well, we need to protect the catchments, because what the forest is doing is also acting as a form of reservoir, enabling the soil to store the water and releasing it slowly over the months, even during the dry season. So catchment protection has to be paramount in everything that we're trying to do. The Roque River project, this is a grand project of His Excellency the President, government. This one will kick off next year, where government is looking at the option of bringing water all the way from the Magbele Bridge, from the Roque River to Freetown, particularly for the east of Freetown and the new communities that are bound to develop along the Wellington-Mashaka Highway. So that's it for innovation. Whether the Guma Dam is empty, Abdullahi, no, the Guma Dam is not empty. But what we do is we every morning or every day we note the height of the water in the dam and compare it to subsequent years. So even before the dam runs out, we know how far the water in the dam will get us. Okay, so at this point in time, we can compare to where it was on this same day for the past 10 years. And if it's below where it's supposed to be, as it is right now, then that calls for caution. Then the engineers can reduce the flow to Freetown, which is what they have done. The ultimatum, I think I've actually answered this question. What we need now is really to focus on the problem, so that, you know, all hands on deck, so that we try to, one, explain the situation, encourage people to stop those destructive acts like cutting of pipes and destruction of the forest, etc., etc. So this is where we really need the journalists, the civil society to really come in. It's not a matter of, oh, this person is responsible or that person is responsible. We all are responsible. So we really, let's put hands on deck and try to solve this crisis. Thank you.
Yeah, let me add by admonishing civil society organizations that our government will never be intimidated by ultimatums. We have the mandate of the people of this country, twice elected in democratically conducted elections, winning the majority of votes, and we are a government that has proved itself to be a listening government. We are a government that has in many instances demonstrated an undiluted commitment to responding to the issues that concerns the well-being and welfare of our people. Therefore, as a government that has its mandate from the people, we will not be intimidated by ultimatums. We would rather prefer collaboration. It is on this note that I'll further admonish civil society organizations that they should endeavor to collaborate rather than threatening government and other state institutions. The benefits of collaboration are unending, and as a government, we are very open to collaboration, and we in the Ministry of Information and Communications will also admonish civil society organizations to restrain themselves from issuing ultimatums and to engage themselves in collaborating with government so that we can all address the many problems that are affecting our people. And on this note, the doors of the Ministry of Information and Communications, being the ministry that is the information gatekeeper, taking government information to the people and taking the concerns of the people to government, our doors are always open for them to come to us, we negotiate, we discuss, we dialogue, and we find a way out in addressing the myriads of problems confronting our nation.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. I'd like to see the papers tomorrow. Deputy Minister spits fire. Our government will not be intimidated. That should be on your front page. Cornelius Devaux spits fire. Will not be intimidated. 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 He will not bulldoze. He will not frighten. He will not scare us into submission. Intimidated. You will not bulldoze, scare us, or frighten us into submission, especially when it's the wrong thing for the people of Sierra Leone. Rather, we should collaborate. We should engage in discussion and find the best way out. That's Deputy Minister, Information and Communication. We'll take some more questions, please. Sila, and the two gentlemen over here. Do I have a lady, please? Can I have a lady? A lady? A lady? Sila, the two gentlemen over here. No, Mr. Ba, you've had your chance. Storm, and this gentleman over here.
Mahmoud Sila, Conscious Time newspaper. Mr. Manager, there is this tussle between you and National Fire Force that they are saying that you have only 2 hydrants, and you are saying that you have 8 hydrants. Will you clarify that to us here?
My name is Khalil Sila from AYV Media Empire. My question is, I made to understand that there is rumor going around that one of the reasons why our government is facing so much of problem, difficulties, is as a result of the government's COFA is running dry. I just want to have a clarification on that.
Yeah, my name is Joseph Mansmana, City Voice newspaper. My question is for the General Manager. General Manager, Deputy, I want to know which mechanism have you put in place to solve this water crisis in the city?
But it's said that, guys, this is what I want. Did you come in late? You came in late? Okay, well, that's probably why. But in future, let's come in time, because in his presentation, he explained the emergency measures that have been put in place. Okay, Bokari, go.
Bokari Kama Newstorm newspaper, Mr. Deputy Minister, and the proprietor for the Universal Times newspaper was about to organize a press conference, which you, as a minister, stopped that press conference. Why? The press conference was, it concerned South and alleged corruption that is going on South. That you, as the minister, you stopped the proprietor to organize that press conference. Why?
Finally.
Good afternoon,
everybody. My name is Sim. I'm reporting for CTN. I think last I'm the one that raised this issue in terms of the NPS examinations, where I quote from the that the exam will go on as planned. And from several medium, what the public maker of the Ministry of Education said, they cannot give the conduct of the NPS examination to somebody that is in the retired age. And today you're saying that, and it's because of payment of staff and other things. That speaks volume that the communication between the Ministry of the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Information, there is a lapse in terms of communication. Having said that, let me say the exam is supposed to take place on the 7th of May. Now let's look at from the 7th, now the recent date is going to be the 28th. Don't you think that pushing this exam from the 7th to the 28th is going to give a psychological effect to the people that are going to take the examination? That's my question.
Thank you very much. The Deputy DG from Salwako will answer, and we'll finish up with the Deputy Minister. But that's a power vested upon me, and I'm not choosing to use that power today.
Hydrants. As a matter of fact, we have about 10 hydrants. Yes, and I can give you the locations. Penny Turner. Then there's this one at the light. We also have Aberdeen. There's one in Aberdeen by the police station. Eastern Police. There's one at Eastern Police. Forbay Road. There's another one at Forbay Road. We have 4 on Wilkinson Road. Girls School, Bible Society. There's one on Coal Farm. There's a 4th one. I've forgotten where that is. Then we have one in Oakwood. So it's not 2. We have 10. The emergency program. Now, again, the emergency program, we're using Bowsers, over 10 Bowsers to cut water to the east in particular, because the east is most affected by this care system. We're doing it right throughout the day, but in particular at night when the traffic is a bit low. Yeah, so you will see the Bowsers just crisscrossing the town. That's what we're doing.
Thank you very much for your questions. I'll begin with a question bordering on the practice of journalism, because journalism is very close to my heart. And I perceive journalism as a noble and honorable profession that has its dictates, its rules of engagement. In answering that question, I will not bother you with the rudiments of investigative journalism, but I want to say that the premises of the Sierra Leone News Agency is not for the purpose of press conference, and therefore, as the ministry responsible for SLENA, we will not tolerate its use for the purpose of a press conference. Last Thursday, as at the time the question regarding the NPSC was being asked, there had been no official confirmation, and it would then have been foolhardy on my part to confirm. Friday, the next day, an official confirmation came out. And if you had come to me on Friday, I would have told you otherwise. I said on Thursday, because an official confirmation had been out. And I'll tell you that the issue of retirement is not the cause for the postponement of the election, for the postponement of the examination, and that the purpose for the postponement of the examination borders on the concern that invigilators would probably not have turned out to superintend the conduct of the exams, which would have created a chaotic situation with a far more psychological consequence than the psychological consequence created by its postponement. And I think a 3 weeks postponement gives students the opportunity to cross the T's and dot the I's in readiness for the examination. I'll assure you that at a meeting held yesterday at the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, which included officers of the ministry, WAEC officials, representative of the Council of Head Teachers, representative of the Conference of Principals, an agreement has been reached that the exams will now take place on the 28th of May. And I want to use this opportunity to wish students who will be taking the exams the best of luck, and to further reassure them that government, who is paying NPSC examination fees for every student taking the exam, will continue to ensure an enabling environment for the furtherance of education, because we, as a government, are of the strong conviction that education remains the bedrock for an informed society to be able to take informed decisions, and informed decisions are very much key. Informed decisions are very much key to sustainable development and the security of a nation. We have on several occasions made it quite clear that prior to the outbreak of Ebola, our economy was rated as one of the fastest growing economies in the world. But with the advent of Ebola, our economy experienced stagnation, because most of the multinational investments that created jobs for our people folded up. Agricultural activities was actually reduced. Our export also dropped drastically, and we experienced a shortfall in our economy. Prior to Ebola, the mining sector alone provided about $50 million to the economy on a yearly basis. As at now, we can get $5 million from that sector. So, government coffers running dry. Government has experienced a shortfall in its economic intake. As I mentioned, export has dropped, so foreign exchange earning has also significantly dropped. The reason for the continuous inflation of the Leone. But with Ebola now at our back, to believe that more companies are beginning to come into the country, and also we have just been ranked as the 4th best country in the West African sub-region to do business. Third, which is an indication that more foreign investment will flow into the country. We also have the Ministry of Agriculture initiating measures that will drastically reduce the importation of essential commodities such as rice, onions, tomato, etc. And also putting in place measures that will increase the export capacity of this country, backed by the prudency of government in its fiscal management. We are certainly sure as a government that with private sector incorporation and investment in especially projects that are geared towards service delivery, a recent projection by the IMF that our economy is set to grow by 5.3% will obviously become a reality. We want to encourage more private sector investment. We want to encourage more foreign investment. And we as a government will continue to pursue the agenda of capacitating small and medium enterprises to become export enterprises. And we as a government will also continue to adhere to international best practices in terms of being prudent in the management of government and even donor funds. Let me add to the initiatives of Guma Valley in addressing the water crisis in Freetown to confirm that our government is fully committed to ensuring every citizen has access to pipe-borne, safe and clean drinking water. The River Roquel project is a testimony to that commitment. But that being aside, we have been able to supply pipe-borne waters to various district towns, including Kailan town, which is for the first time receiving pipe-borne water after 45 years. And you saw that quite clearly in the video footage that we presented to you. Aside of that, we have the 3 cities water project undertaken by Kailan, which has provided pipe-borne water to Makeni, Bo, and Kenema. We have been able as a government to ensure that Salwako has transformed itself from a project-based institution to a utility service delivery institution. We have also been able to put in place mechanisms to protect water catchment areas in Kabbalah, Tonkolili, and other parts of the country. And we are also certainly sure that protecting water catchment areas in the western area has become a concern for serious-minded citizens. And therefore, You will all recall that not too long ago, the new Minister of Lands, Housing, Country Planning was on the radio speaking very tough that all those who have constructed houses in water catchment areas and in other areas where they are not supposed to build houses should begin to prepare themselves for demolition. We would have expected civil society to give the minister a tap on the back and should have also supported the minister so that when we begin to demolish the houses, we will not want Human Rights Commission to say we are violating the rights of people. We will not want civil society organizations to begin to cry foul, because they should tell these people who are constructing houses in water catchment areas, they should tell these people who are in the habit of deforestation that your actions in itself constitute a violation of the fundamental rights of other citizens to a conducive environment. I think I'll stop there for now.
Development is for everyone. What am I saying essentially? It is not us against them. It is us coming together with a sense of patriotism, a sense of loyalty, and a sense of nationalism, so we can build our country, be it tangibly or intangibly. We should all win together. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to implore you to do whatever you can to bring this to the people of Sierra Leone so they know what's happening. The Minister of Information and Communication, whom we represent here, is in his office handling other business, has sent me a question. He wants me to ask who in this room have been to Koinadugu before now? Who in this room have been to Koinadugu before now? What you have seen in Koinadugu 2 years ago and what has happened to Koinadugu as you've seen here, has there been a major difference, a significant difference, or just a difference? Absolute difference. That's the way we should think. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good afternoon. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you, Mr. Minister.